Some people say, well, gee, you were a county chairman, a county party chairman. So how can that make you be the populist you sound like here today? As I said, I was a volunteer chairman. I'm proud of the years that I served and led our party. I took over a party that was completely broken. It was run in large part by people who had strayed from conservative Republican principles. Joe Giambra was the county executive and the head of that party. We went in a different direction. During my tenure, we recruited Chris Collins as our county executive, a very pro-business, pro-taxpayer person, and other folks like Kevin Hardwick and Lynn Dixon and others to the county legislature, Chris Lee at Congress. I didn't stand by the usual political suspects. I didn't worry about which people would be upset by going in a different direction. We focused on the taxpayer during my tenure as chairman, and I'm proud of that. But that service was volunteer service. I believe this is a time to step up, and I believe I have the life's experience in business, understanding the laws, having represented people affected by these laws made in Albany, and again, focusing on fundamental kitchen table issues for families and businesses. And I believe that that skill set gives me an opportunity to serve well in Albany. Some people say, okay, if that all sounds good, that's fine, but how can one person change things? And are you prepared for the tough cesspool that Albany is? Are you going to be tough enough to deal with that? What happens when they shoot down your ideas? Well, I've been in some tough spots in my life. Certainly, my career has been advocating for people. It's very humbling when people come and sit across a desk and literally put a file of papers in front of you usually and say, Jim, here's my problem, and it's a serious one. Help me fix it. And I've spent my career solving problems for people. I think that's a good thing to have in a legislator. I'm 44 years old now, at age 28. Kind of out of nowhere, I was diagnosed with leukemia. Spent 10 months of my life at Roswell Park, and through the grace of God and some very good medicine and wonderful doctors. I stand here. Yesterday was the 16th anniversary of going into remission from my cancer. And I never lived... And I never live a day without being grateful for that. And I believe, it's in part why I stepped up to serve the Republican Party when it was leaderless. It's in part why I'm standing here today. I believe you're given gifts and opportunities. Those doctors, when they started dumping chemotherapy in me, told me, you'd probably never be able to have children. And I wasn't even married at the time, so it wasn't a real concern. But they said, probably not likely, buddy, given what we're about to do to you. And I go home every day to those two boys I told you about. And I'm very blessed to do that. So those are some of the reasons that I'm running. I've dealt with the tough characters in New York City in my business. I helped expand my own business into New York City. I've gone into the marble office buildings and with the fancy glass and the polished brass, and in comes this kind of chunky Polish kid from Buffalo, and he said, Donald, what's your name, buddy? And I usually walk out having achieved some success for my objective and my clients. So not afraid of those guys. I understand them, and I understand what the New York City attitude is. But we have to save upstate New York. And if we don't do that together, in really a bipartisan way, we need leadership that's going to be able to reach across the aisle and do that. But stand on conservative principle when necessary. And it's necessary a lot more than there is. So that's a bit about me. It's a bit about why I'm running. It's a bit about who I am. And also, as far as I know, because the other guys have been quiet on this, I'm the only candidate in this race who's come out and said, I advocate for term limits. I believe in them. I think it's time to stop sending career politicians to Albany. I believe 10 years is enough. It's in the state senate. It's 5 2-year terms. Go down, use your skills, try to accomplish something, and then give the next man or woman a chance. And go back to a full-time career in the private sector. These are supposed to be citizen legislator positions. These are not supposed to be professional politician positions. And while I intend to be a full-service, full-time, constituent-based state senator, I don't intend to be a full-time politician. And if you get that budget done like you're supposed to, you can come home and serve your constituents, and you ought to have a real job. And I can get started, and I won't, because I want to take your questions, but they're paid too much, their benefits are too much. We don't need that for these people in Albany. We need to find people who can go, serve, come home, and let the next person go. You know, maybe we can recruit Laura or somebody else here tonight, but I sincerely need that. I think it ought to be citizen legislative service, and then give the next person a try. And so this is, you know, my platform. It's who I am, and I'd like to be your state senator to represent you in those issues.